What is the state of Texas Tech University? One of the campus's highest ranking officials answered that question yesterday during an annual address. Coming up, we'll have a look at the event, let you know where Texas Tech stands heading into another school year.
If walking across campus just isn't your style, you've probably already found another form of transportation to get you from class to class. And if that option happens to be a bike, we'll let you know how one campus department helps students stay safe with a unique annual event.
Keeping up with politics can be overwhelming, especially with the constant stream of national, state, and local headlines. So what do you need to know? MCTV's Madilyn Coyne will narrow down the topics in this week's edition of MCTV's Inside the Issues.
And the Texas Tech volleyball team started off Big 12 play this week on their home turf, but could they start off with a win at the USA? We'll have highlights and the final score from the Red Raiders conference opener and a look at what's coming up this weekend in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the third day's editions of the MCTV's Weekday Update. I'm Karla Suarez.
And I'm Aiden Lewis. The beginning of September officially marks the start of a new year for the Texas Tech University system.
And each fall, a special event is held here on campus that allows one of the TTU's top officials the chance to update the university's community on the status of Texas Tech. On Wednesday afternoon, TTU President Lawrence Skuvanek gave his annual State of the University's address in the May-Jin Theater. Skuvanek highlighted several milestones for the universities, including a new record fall enrollment that pushed the total number of students past the 42,000 mark for the first time. The president also highlighted Tech's graduation rate, which improved to 54% over 4 years and 80% over 6. The university also launched the On and On campaign last fall, and Skuvanek reported that $915 million has already been raised to support the growth of the campus and help bring a higher awareness of the universities to potential students.
The brand of Texas Tech is very strong, and there are a number of reasons for that. Part of it is what we do here, academically, the stature of our faculty, the success of athletics, but also I think our brand reach has been expanded because we're much more sophisticated in how we market this university.
Skuvanek address highlighted the university's recent marketing efforts, which include the use of companies that specialize in data analytics to better understand the strengths of the campus and the needs of future Red Raiders. The president also included the stories of several current students, along with the compliments of several faculty and staff. He concluded by thanking the university community as a whole for all they do.
Speaking of graduation rates, December commencement is coming up later this year. Many students are looking forward to their chance to walk across that stage and grab their diploma. But even if you aren't finished just yet, you currently have a special chance to grab a special university keepsake that will allow you to show off your school pride before becoming an official Texas Tech grad. On Tuesday morning, the Texas Tech Alumni Association opened the doors to the Mackenzie Marquette Alumni Center to students for the fall edition of the Red Raider Ring Days. The biannual event gives students with at least 60 undergrad hours the chance to browse and try on rings and learn about the fall ring ceremony and place an order for the popular keepsake. Red Raider Ring Days is held in the fall and the spring as a convenient option for upperclassmen interested in getting a ring. The fall event wrapped up earlier this afternoon, but you still have the time and place to order and get your ring this year.
So the very last opportunity is going to be on October 3rd. The cutoff date for rings to be able to be eligible for the ring ceremony is going to be that date at midnight. So if they can't come these days, they can come visit us next week here at the Mackenzie Marquette on the east side of the building, and that's where they'll get their class ring there too.
Attendees at this week's Red Raider Ring Days also had the opportunity to enter a raffle for a free diploma frame and grab some free refreshments while they were waiting to be sized. Graduating seniors could also pre-order their cap and gown and find out how to order invitations and learn about the option for senior pictures. If you did happen to place your order this week, you can make plans to attend the fall ring ceremony coming up later this semester. The ring ceremony is scheduled for Monday, November 23rd, just before the Thanksgiving break. Attendees will receive their ring during the event while hearing from members of the university and the Alumni Association about the importance of the tradition. For more information, visit texastechalumni.org and click on the official TTU ring under the Shop tab.
Getting around the Texas Tech campus can be a challenge, but for some students, a popular two-wheel form of transportation is the way to go. And twice a year, one campus group makes sure students get from place to place safely. Transportation and Parking Services took advantage of a beautiful Wednesday and invited students to stop by the Fall Bike Clinic. The annual event is a collaboration between TPS and other groups, such as the Outdoor Pursuit Center and Lime. Each group was available to provide information about free resources for students who bike or ride scooters across campus. The OPC also stopped by to offer free tune-ups from the technicians for any bicycle The free services included a general checkup along with tightening screws, replacing parts, and making sure each bike was in top shape before leaving the gazebo outside the sub.
Out here, we're just trying to fix the simple things that we can, and then if it's a more complex fix, refer them to the bike shop, refer them to bring it back to the bike shop so that we can make sure they get to class on time.
The OPC is located at the Rec Center, and students can take advantage of bike tune-up and repair services throughout the school year. Along with the OPC technicians, transportation, and parking services staff were also on site to enforce students about free bike registrations. And representatives from Lime offered scooter safety tips as part of their First Ride Academy. TPS will host a spring version of the bike clinic next year, but in the meantime, you can find out about additional events and services by visiting transportation and parking website at parking.ttu.edu. If you've been outside early the last couple of mornings, you may have had to run back inside to grab a jacket or sweatshirt before heading to class.
On Monday, the official first day of fall, the National Weather Service reported a new daily record of 99 degrees. But this morning, seasonal conditions were fully kicked in with lows in the mid-50s right around sunrise. So will the cool-off continue into the weekend? Let's take a look at the MCTV forecast. We've been seeing bright and sunny skies on the MCTV tower cam today, but the sunshine doesn't necessarily mean that temperatures have been warm. In fact, highs today have been close to 10 degrees cooler than yesterday, topping out in the low 80s. Cooler temperatures are coming in from across the area, with some parts of the South Plains climbing just above 70 degrees. The drop in temperatures won't continue for long, with highs back around 90 degrees tomorrow, but still lows are expected to drop into the high 50s and low 60s into the weekend, which means you may still have to grab that jacket if you head out before noon. Looking ahead, the weekend should start with another warm day on Saturday, but mild temperatures are expected both Sunday and Monday. But after that, it looks like the warmer weather will return to the area, with temperatures back near 90 degrees most of next week.
Political news has dominated the national, state, and local headlines ever since last year's election cycle, and recent events even had direct impacts on students here at the university.
Madilyn Coyne has been keeping us in the news, and she joins us with a special look at some of those stories in today's edition of MCTV's Inside the Issues. Madilyn.
Thank you, guys. Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk died on September 10th after being shot while speaking at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Kirk built the organization into a leading voice for young conservatives, and his passing has raised questions about the future of TPUSA chapters nationwide. Earlier this week here at Texas Tech, I met with freshman business major Preston Parsons, the TPUSA Texas Tech chapter president. He told us he was drawn to the movement by Kirk himself over the summer. Parsons decided to restart the TPUSA chapter on campus, and he says the response has been extraordinary.
As I'm sure everyone's seen, the memorial service that was held in Phoenix a few days ago, absolutely incredible to see something so beautiful come out of tragedy. I believe the organization is in the best hands it could be through Miss Erica Kirk. She is going to be phenomenal, and I don't think people realize how much she did for Turning Point in the background already, and how much of a support she was for Charlie. So I think the organization moving forward is only going to be bigger and better and stronger and more resilient than ever before. And just here at Texas Tech this summer, I started it with 5 people in July, and before September 10th, we had about 65 people involved, and now we're up to 350.
On a national level, Parsons says TPUSA has grown from about 2,000 chapters to 68,000 chapter requests in total. Parsons also said that leading the chapter has given him a chance to get involved in politics early and help students have a stronger voice on campus. Parsons says his focus now is on shaping the chapter's direction.
So overarching goals for the chapter, of course, with the first month or so getting it organized, I'm going to set in stone certain policies for the group and certain procedures and expectations. We're going to host at least 1 meeting a week. We're going to table at least twice a week. The goal is to host at least 1 big speaker every single month, and then if we can fit in various other speakers throughout there, we will. And then we are fundraising, and we're going to get the members of our chapter to the national Turning Point events if we can, such as AmFest or the Student Action Summit, or for our young ladies in the chapter, the Young Women's Leadership Summit. So those are the overarching goals, and within a year, I really think that specifically at Texas Tech, especially with where we are geographically and the student population's overall political vibe, we truly have a chance to become one of the largest Turning Point USA chapters in the nation.
On August 20th, the Texas House passed House Bill 4, a plan to redraw congressional districts. 2 days later, on August 22nd, the Senate approved the bill. Governor Greg Abbott signed it into law on August 29th. President Trump also influenced the decision by encouraging Texas Republicans to redistrict to gain as many as 5 additional U.S. House seats. Redistricting usually happens once every 10 years after the census, but Texas has broken that pattern before, most notably in 2003, when lawmakers redrew maps mid-decade. I spoke with political experts who say mid-decade redistricting is rare but not unprecedented. According to Texas Legislative Council, lawmakers argue the changes will stabilize representation and ensure rural voters are not overshadowed by urban growth. But some legal scholars warn the maps could make races less competitive and discourage voter turnout. Brandon Rottinghouse, a political science professor at the University of Houston, said the new lines are likely to produce more safe districts, benefiting incumbents but also increasing polarization. Texas isn't alone in this conversation. States like California, New York, and Missouri are also weighing changes of their own. In California, Governor Gavin Newsom warned in a letter that he would be considering implementing mid-cycle redistricting in his state in response to what he described as hyper-partisan map efforts elsewhere. For now, the courts will decide how these new maps hold up, but one thing is clear. Redistricting will play a central role in shaping Texas' political future, and the debate in Austin is already influencing conversations well beyond the state's borders. On September 23rd, President Donald Trump addressed the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. In his remarks, outlined in the official White House transcript, Trump touched on several major topics. He praised the golden age of America, pointing to a strong economy, secure borders, and military strength. He also focused heavily on immigration, saying the number of illegal crossings had dropped to 0 for 4 straight months, and warning that anyone entering illegally would either face jail or be sent back. Trump also criticized the United Nations itself, arguing that many of its declarations amount to empty words that fail to resolve global conflicts. At the same time, he urged nations to work together against shared threats, including terrorism, unchecked migration, biological warfare, and the erosion of cultural identity. Trump's remarks underscored his message of national sovereignty and border security while questioning the effectiveness of international institutions. From the growth of student political groups here at Texas Tech to the statewide debate over redistricting and President Trump's remarks on the international stage, these stories highlight how decisions made at every level, local, state, and national, shape the conversations that affect us all. We'll continue following these developments and bring you updates right here on Inside the Issues. I'm Madilyn Coyne, and back to y'all.
Thanks, Madilyn. The Texas Tech volleyball team was back on the court last night to open up Big 12 play at the United Supermarket Arena, taking on a familiar ranked opponent. The Red Raiders met up with the Baylor Bears yesterday night, just 4 days after wrapping up the Red Raiders Classic with a win against Incarnate Word. Tech hoped to continue that momentum with win over the number 20 ranked team in the nation. But unfortunately, the Bears had other plans. Baylor won the first set, but the Red Raiders put up a fight in the second, winning 28-26 from there. The Bears took over, taking set 3 25-15 and set 4 25-16. Baylor won the contest 3 sets to 2. Tech volleyball is hoping for a better result as they head to Houston for Game 2 of conference play at 1 p.m. on Saturday. If you're not traveling to cheer on the team, you can still catch all the action on ESPN+.
Texas Tech Athletics home schedule is open this weekend with competing teams out of town from Friday through Sunday. But tonight you can still catch some campus action before one team hits the road. The women's soccer team is hoping to keep a 4-game winning streak alive as they welcome Houston to the John Walker Soccer Field tonight. The Red Raiders are currently 7-1 overall and 1-0 in Big 12 play after beating Baylor last Friday. Unfortunately, the win wasn't enough to get Tech into the top 25 this week as they were once again the first team out in the United Coaches poll, but the Red Raiders are hoping to find their way into the rankings with a win over the Cougars. Tech versus Houston is scheduled to start at 7 p.m. tonight, and you can also watch it on ESPN+. And also a quick reminder that Texas Tech football will be off this week, but you can plan ahead to cheer on the number 12 ranked team in the nation as they head to Houston to take on the Cougars on Saturday, October 4th. As you mentioned earlier, it's starting to feel a lot more like fall with the cooler temperatures setting in across the area, but the weather is not the only indication that seasons have changed.
An event that has long been on the annual calendar for Lubbock is also one of the biggest indications that fall is here. But you've only got a few more days to grab a corn dog, a lemonade, or jump on a roller coaster for a wild ride. The 108th edition of the Panhandle South Plains Fair is ongoing at the fairgrounds east of campus of the Marcia Sharp Freeway. The annual 10th day event features food vendors, agricultural exhibits, local business, and a midway full of rides and games. The fair started last Thursday, and since then, thousands of area residents have enjoyed the fall tradition, which started in 1914. The fair included several promotional days, including tonight's college night. Students with a college ID can get into the fair for $5 all evening. Today is also wristband day with $40 wristbands available for unlimited rides in the midway from 3 to 11 p.m. The 108th annual Panhandle South Plains Fair continues from now through Saturday with paid admissions today and tomorrow from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m.
So Karla, have you made your trip to the fair this year?
I've actually went yesterday. It was really fun.
I haven't gone yet, but I think I might actually go either tonight or tomorrow now that it's college night.
Well, you need to try the funnel cakes. They're amazing.
I might just do that. That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thank you so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.